In 1587, over 100 people vanished without a single trace. Not in a war, not in a disaster, not in a moment anyone could explain. They were there, and then they weren't. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no message, no warning, no evidence that anything had gone wrong. Just one word, carved into wood, left behind, like a clue or a warning. Croatoan. And that should have been the end of the story, but it wasn't. Because what makes this mystery terrifying isn't just that they disappeared, it's how they left. They didn't run. There was no panic, no chaos, no destruction, no signs of fear, no signs of force, no signs that anything had gone wrong. They had time to move, time to take things apart, time to disappear, time to make a decision, time to choose something we still don't understand. This is the story of the Roanoke Colony, the first English settlement in the New World, and one of the most chilling mysteries in human history. A village that didn't fall, didn't burn, didn't fight. It simply stopped existing. In 1587, a group of English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, a remote, isolated place off the coast of what is now North Carolina. The ocean behind them, the unknown ahead of them, no way back, without risk, no guarantee of survival. The journey had been long, exhausting, unforgiving. Many arrived already weakened, already uncertain, already questioning what they had chosen. Supplies were limited, energy was low, and the land felt unfamiliar. Dense forests, strange sounds at night, shadows that moved without explanation, unpredictable weather that could change in hours. This was not home, and everything around them felt unfamiliar, unpredictable, and unforgiving. But they came with hope, a chance to build something new, a chance to survive on their own terms, a chance to start again. Men, women, and children, all starting over. Families who had risked everything for a future they couldn't see, a future they had to believe in. Because without that belief, they had nothing. Among them, a newborn baby, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America. A symbol of a new beginning, a sign that this place could become home. For a brief moment, it felt like a beginning. A new life, a new land, a new chapter. But something was already wrong. The land was difficult, unpredictable, unforgiving, food was scarce, and every passing day, survival became harder. Hunting was unreliable, animals were rare, or too fast, or already gone. Crops struggled to grow, the soil wasn't what they expected, the seasons didn't behave the way they knew, and the environment refused to cooperate. Water became harder to find, clean sources even harder. Every day required more effort for less reward, and every mistake cost them more than they could afford. The settlers didn't know the land, they didn't know the seasons, and they didn't know who to trust. Tensions with local tribes began to rise. Some encounters were peaceful, trade was possible, food could be exchanged, communication barely worked, but others ended in fear. Misunderstandings quickly turned dangerous. Because both sides were uncertain, both sides were cautious, and caution can turn into conflict. And slowly, the colony began to weaken. Less food, less stability, less hope, and more fear, more doubt, more questions, with no answers. So their leader, John White, made a decision, a risky one, but necessary. He would leave the colony and sail back to England to gather supplies, food, tools, support, anything they needed to survive. It was supposed to be temporary, a short journey, a quick return, just enough time to save them, just enough time to keep them alive. But history had other plans. England was preparing for war against Spain. Ships were taken, resources were redirected, priorities shifted, and John White was forced to wait. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, months into years. Every day, he waited, knowing they were alone, knowing they were surviving without him. 3 years passed. 3 years with no contact, no help, no support. 3 years on land that was never theirs. And this is where things become unsettling. Because if they were starving, there should be bodies. If they were attacked, there should be signs. If they were desperate, there should be chaos. But when John White returned in 1590, he found none of that. Silence. The colony was empty. No people, no bodies, no signs of violence. Everything was gone. Not scattered, not destroyed. Gone. Homes were dismantled, carefully taken apart. Wood removed, structures deconstructed, not burned, not destroyed. Which means this wasn't panic. This was planned. As if they knew they were leaving, as if they had time to prepare. Or worse, as if they were told to leave. But where did they go? There were no tracks, no remains, no direction, no sign of over 100 people moving together, no trace of struggle or survival. Just one clue, carved into a wooden post, a single word, Croatoan. And nearby, 3 letters carved into a tree, C-R-O. No explanation, no message, no warning, just a word and silence. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, and also the name of a native tribe. So maybe they went there. Maybe they found help. Maybe they survived. Maybe they adapted, blended in, became something new. Maybe they chose to disappear. Or maybe something else happened. Something no one recorded. Something no one survived to explain. Something that left no trace at all. But here's the problem. No one ever found them. Not a single confirmed trace. No records, no remains, no proof. And that changes everything. Because now, we're not looking at survival. We're looking at disappearance. Something that shouldn't be possible. Some believe they moved inland, trying to escape, trying to survive. But if they did, they vanished anyway. And then, there are the darker possibilities. The ones history can't explain. What if something forced them to leave? Something sudden, something powerful, something they couldn't fight, something that didn't leave evidence. Because people don't just disappear, not like this, not without a trace, and not all at once. Over 400 years later, the mystery still remains. No answers, no closure, just one word echoing through history. Croatoan, and maybe they didn't disappear. Maybe they were never meant to be found. And this isn't the only mystery where people disappeared without a trace, because what happened in the Dyatlov Pass was even worse.